The natural world is full of struggle, but some suffering is entirely man-made. Consider the story of Rocky, a 7-year-old bear. His life, until recently, was a chronicle of pain inflicted for human amusement in Pakistan. In March of 2025, a rescue operation brought an end to his torment in the Sargodha district. Rocky was not a wild bear living a natural life. He was a captive, forced into an existence that no creature should endure. His plight highlights a dark corner of human behavior, one that many dedicated people are working tirelessly to illuminate and eradicate. The path to his freedom was a significant moment for animal welfare. Rocky's physical condition at the time of his rescue told a harrowing tale. He bore numerous bleeding wounds, stark evidence of the brutal encounters he had been forced to survive. His teeth, essential tools for any bear, had been cruelly removed. This was likely done to prevent him from seriously harming the dogs he was made to fight. A tight nose ring was embedded in his flesh, and a heavy chain around his neck had caused significant skin damage. These were not injuries from the wild, they were the deliberate inflictions of his captors, designed to control and subjugate him for the spectacle of bear baiting. The emotional scars, though less visible, are often just as profound for animals like Rocky. Bears are intelligent, sentient beings capable of experiencing fear, stress, and trauma. Imagine the terror of being repeatedly pitted against aggressive dogs, with no escape and little ability to defend oneself effectively. This relentless cycle of violence would undoubtedly leave deep psychological wounds. The confiscation of Rocky on February 27, 2025, was the first step towards his healing. A magistrate's court then made the crucial order for his relocation, paving the way for a new chapter in his life, one hopefully filled with peace and recovery. Rocky's journey from a life of forced combat to a place of safety underscores the horrific reality of illegal animal fights. He had been forced to fight against trained dogs an estimated 35 times. Each fight was a terrifying ordeal, an unnatural confrontation staged purely for entertainment. His rescue represents a victory, not just for him, but for all who believe in the humane treatment of animals. It signifies a commitment to changing attitudes and ending such barbaric practices. His story is a powerful reminder of the suffering hidden in plain sight and the urgent need for compassion and action to protect these vulnerable creatures. Bear baiting is a cruel and illegal blood sport with a long, dark history in some parts of the world, including Pakistan. The practice involves setting a captured bear against a pack of trained dogs. The bears are often declawed and have their canine teeth broken or removed, rendering them less able to defend themselves effectively. They are typically tethered to a post or confined in a pit, preventing any chance of escape. The dogs, specifically bred and trained for aggression, attack the bear relentlessly. This is not a fair fight, it is a staged slaughter, designed to entertain a human audience through an animal's suffering. The physical toll on the bears is immense and immediately apparent. They suffer from severe bite wounds, often leading to infections. Broken bones, torn flesh, and exhaustion are common. The tight nose rings and chains used to control them cause chronic pain and infections, sometimes leading to severe disfigurement. Over time, the repeated trauma weakens the bears considerably, making each subsequent fight even more dangerous for them. Many bears succumb to their injuries or to diseases contracted due to their weakened state and unsanitary living conditions. The sheer brutality of the spectacle is difficult to comprehend, a stark contrast to the dignity these animals possess in the wild. Beyond the horrific physical injuries, the psychological trauma inflicted upon these bears is devastating. They live in a constant state of fear and stress. The anticipation of the next fight, the aggression of the dogs, and the noise of the crowds all contribute to a life of perpetual torment. Bears are naturally solitary and reclusive animals in many instances, and forcing them into such aggressive public confrontations is deeply unnatural and distressing for them. This prolonged psychological abuse can lead to behavioral issues and a complete breakdown of their natural spirit. The suffering extends far beyond the moments of the actual fight itself. The dogs used in bear baiting also suffer. Though they are the aggressors in the pit, they too are often seriously injured or even killed during the encounters. They are trained to be aggressive, often through harsh methods, and are viewed as disposable tools in this cruel sport. This practice perpetuates a cycle of violence, harming all animals involved. The entire enterprise is built upon a foundation of cruelty, exploiting the strength of one animal and the aggression of another for the fleeting, base entertainment of a few. Ending such practices is a moral imperative for any society that values compassion. Despite the grim reality of bear baiting, there are dedicated organizations and individuals working tirelessly to bring this cruelty to an end. One such prominent organization is Four Paws. This international animal welfare group has been at the forefront of efforts to rescue bears like Rocky and to combat the illegal practice of bear baiting in Pakistan and other regions. Their work involves not only direct animal rescue, but also providing long-term care for animals that have suffered immense trauma. They collaborate closely with local authorities and communities to create lasting change and offer these animals a chance at a life free from pain. The rescue of Rocky was a testament to the power of collaboration. Four Paws did not work in isolation. They joined forces with the Islamabad Wildlife Management Board, IWMB, and the Punjab Wildlife Department. Such partnerships are crucial for success, combining international expertise and resources with local knowledge and enforcement capabilities. These joint efforts involve complex logistics, legal procedures, and often navigating challenging local situations. The commitment of these organizations to work together demonstrates a united front against animal cruelty, sending a strong message that such practices will not be tolerated and will be actively fought. Once rescued, bears like Rocky require specialized care to recover from their physical and psychological wounds. Rocky was relocated to the IWMB Rescue and Rehabilitation Center in Islamabad. Here he can receive veterinary treatment for his injuries, a proper diet, and a safe environment where he can begin to heal. Rehabilitation for these bears is a long and patient process. It involves helping them to overcome their fear and trauma and allowing them to exhibit natural behaviors that were suppressed for so long. Sanctuaries and rehabilitation centers play a vital role in providing this second chance at life. Four Paws and its partners are committed not only to rescuing individual animals, but also to achieving systemic change. They actively support the Pakistani government's efforts to find sustainable solutions to end bear baiting permanently. This includes advocating for stronger animal welfare laws and better enforcement mechanisms. Furthermore, they work on community engagement and awareness programs, aiming to change hearts and minds about the acceptability of such cruel sports. The ultimate goal is to eradicate bear baiting entirely, ensuring that no more bears have to endure the suffering that Rocky experienced. Their dedication offers a beacon of hope for countless animals. Recognizing the inadequacy of outdated laws, Pakistan has taken significant steps to strengthen its legal framework against animal cruelty. A landmark development was the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Amendment Bill 2018. This bill, passed by the Senate Standing Committee on Interior, represented a major overhaul of animal welfare legislation that had remained largely unchanged since 1890. One of the most crucial amendments was the substantial increase in penalties for inciting animals to fight. The fine for this specific offence was raised dramatically from a mere Rs 50 to an impactful Rs 300,000. This change signals a much stronger deterrent against such barbaric practices. This legislative reform acknowledges that meaningful penalties are essential for laws to be effective. The previous fine of Rs 50 was so negligible that it provided virtually no disincentive for those involved in organising or participating in animal fights. The new, much heavier fine of Rs 300,000 reflects a greater societal understanding of the severity of such cruelty and a stronger commitment to punishing offenders. While laws alone cannot eradicate deep-rooted practices, they provide a critical tool for law enforcement agencies and animal welfare organizations to take action and hold perpetrators accountable for their actions, thereby protecting more animals from suffering. Beyond these specific penalties for inciting animal fights, there has been a broader push to address animal cruelty in general. Reports indicate that Pakistan has also introduced measures including a Rs 15,000 fine and potential jail terms for those found guilty of various forms of animal cruelty. This broader scope ensures that a wider range of abusive behaviors towards animals can be addressed under the law. Such measures are vital for fostering a culture of respect and compassion for all living beings. The introduction of potential jail time, in particular, elevates animal cruelty from a minor infraction to a more serious offense in the eyes of the legal system. The impact of these legislative changes is multifaceted. Firstly, they provide a stronger legal basis for prosecutions, empowering authorities to act more decisively. Secondly, they raise public awareness about animal welfare issues and signal that the state takes such matters seriously. However, the journey does not end with the passage of laws. Effective implementation and consistent enforcement are paramount. Continued vigilance, public education, and support for enforcement agencies are necessary to ensure that these improved laws translate into tangible improvements in the lives of animals across Pakistan, moving towards a society that truly values their well-being. Section 5. Beyond the baiting pits, nature's own conflicts. While illegal animal fights like bear baiting are a product of human cruelty, the natural world itself is no stranger to conflict. Animals in the wild engage in struggles for survival, territory, and mates. These are not spectacles for entertainment, but are fundamental aspects of ecological balance. In Pakistan, a different kind of fight occurs, one born from the pressures of a changing environment, the conflict between humans and wildlife, particularly predators like leopards. These encounters, though sometimes tragic, stem from very different roots than the orchestrated cruelty of baiting pits, arising from competition for resources and space in an increasingly human-dominated landscape. Leopards, magnificent and elusive creatures, are apex predators. Their lives involve a constant fight for survival in the truest sense, hunting prey, defending territory, and raising their young. Unlike the forced combat of baited bears, these natural struggles are essential for maintaining the health of their ecosystems. When a leopard hunts, it is not an act of malice, but a necessary part of its existence and its role in the food web. Understanding this distinction is crucial. The conflicts that arise with humans are often a consequence of human activities encroaching upon the leopard's natural habitat and a disruption of this delicate natural order. The term fight in this context can be misleading if not properly understood. When a leopard preys on wild goats, as noted in ecological studies, it is performing a vital service. This predation helps to control the populations of these herbivores, preventing overgrazing and the potential spread of disease that can occur when prey populations become too dense. This natural fight for sustenance by the leopard contributes to the overall health and stability of its environment. It is a dance of predator and prey that has played out for millennia, shaping the very landscapes these animals inhabit and ensuring their long-term viability. However, the line between these natural interactions and direct conflict with human interests is becoming increasingly blurred. As human settlements expand and natural habitats shrink, leopards and people are forced into closer proximity. This proximity can lead to unfortunate encounters, such as leopards preying on livestock, which are often easier targets than wild animals. This is where the fight takes on a new dimension, one that is less about natural ecological processes and more about the challenges of coexistence in a shared and often contested environment. The consequences can be severe for both leopards and the local human communities. Section 6. The leopard's realm, an apex predator's ecological dance. Leopards in Pakistan, like their counterparts across the globe, play an indispensable role as apex predators. Their position at the top of the food chain is not one of mere dominance, but of critical ecological importance. They are nature's regulators, silently and effectively managing the populations of various herbivore species. In regions like the mountainous terrains of Pakistan, they primarily prey on animals such as wild goats. This predation is a natural and necessary process. By keeping these herbivore populations in check, leopards prevent overgrazing, which could otherwise decimate plant life and lead to soil erosion and habitat degradation for many other species. The ecological fights or predatory interactions orchestrated by leopards contribute significantly to the overall health of the ecosystem. By selectively hunting, often targeting weaker or sicker individuals among their prey, leopards help to maintain the genetic fitness of prey populations. This culling of less fit animals also plays a role in preventing the widespread outbreak of diseases that could devastate entire herds. The balance they maintain is delicate and far-reaching, influencing everything from vegetation structure to the populations of smaller carnivores, and scavengers that might benefit from the remains of a leopard's kill. Their presence is a sign of a healthy, functioning ecosystem. The common leopard population in Pakistan, however, faces severe threats and is critically endangered. Estimates suggest their numbers may only be in the hundreds, a precarious situation for such a vital species. Their survival is intrinsically linked to the health of the ecosystems they inhabit. Key protected areas such as Margalla Hills National Park, Ayubia National Park and Makiara National Park offer some refuge. Yet even within these designated sanctuaries, leopards are not entirely safe from the pressures that are driving their decline across their range. The fight for their survival is, in essence, a fight for the integrity of these wild places. A 2021 camera trap study in Margalla Hills National Park provided a hopeful glimpse, revealing the presence of at least 8 individual leopards. Such studies are crucial for understanding leopard populations, their distribution, and the effectiveness of conservation measures. Monitoring these elusive cats helps researchers and wildlife managers make informed decisions about how best to protect them and their habitat. The survival of these magnificent predators depends on continued research, robust protection within and beyond park boundaries, and a greater understanding of their ecological significance among the wider public and local communities living alongside them. Section 7. A shrinking domain. The clash between humans and leopards. The primary driver of conflict between humans and leopards in Pakistan is the relentless loss and fragmentation of leopard habitat. As human populations grow, settlements expand, and infrastructure development encroaches further into wild areas, the natural domain of the leopard shrinks. Forests are cleared for agriculture, grasslands are converted for grazing, and roads carved through once undisturbed territories. This encroachment forces leopards into smaller, more isolated pockets of habitat, often bringing them into closer and more frequent contact with human settlements and livestock, leading to inevitable clashes over resources and space. When their natural prey becomes scarce due to habitat degradation or overhunting by humans, leopards may turn to an alternative, often easier, food-source domestic livestock. Goats, sheep, and sometimes even dogs kept by villagers on the peripheries of leopard habitat can become targets. For rural communities, many of whom are already economically vulnerable, the loss of even a single animal to predation can be a significant economic blow. This direct economic impact fuels resentment and fear towards leopards, often leading to retaliatory actions by the affected villagers who feel they have no other recourse to protect their livelihoods. These retaliatory killings are a major threat to Pakistan's dwindling leopard population. For instance, in April 2025, a distressing incident occurred in Dera Bugti, Balochistan, where villagers killed a leopard and then disturbingly posted footage of the act on social media. Such incidents are not isolated. Young leopards in particular may stray outside protected areas as they disperse to find their own territories, making them especially vulnerable to being harmed or killed when they encounter human-dominated landscapes. These killings, born out of conflict and sometimes fear, directly undermine conservation efforts aimed at protecting this critically endangered species. The issue is compounded by a lack of awareness or alternatives for communities living alongside these predators. Without mechanisms to compensate for livestock losses or strategies to better protect their animals, villagers may see killing leopards as their only option. This highlights a critical need for proactive conflict mitigation strategies. Simply designating protected areas is not enough if the communities living around these areas feel threatened or economically disadvantaged by the presence of predators. Finding ways for humans and leopards to coexist is one of the greatest conservation challenges in the region. Section 8, Forging Coexistence Conservation in Action for Pakistan's Leopards. Addressing human-leopard conflict requires a multi-pronged approach that focuses on conservation, community engagement, and practical solutions. Conservationists in Pakistan are increasingly highlighting the need for innovative measures such as insurance schemes for livestock losses due to predation. If villagers could be compensated for animals lost to leopards, it could significantly reduce the incentive for retaliatory killings. Such schemes, while complex to implement, offer a pathway towards shared responsibility and can help to foster tolerance for predators among local communities. making coexistence a more viable prospect for all parties involved. Protecting existing leopard habitats and corridors between them is fundamental. Pakistan has designated several protected areas, including Margala Hills National Park, Ayubia National Park and Makiara National Park, which serve as crucial refuges for leopards. However, conservation efforts must extend beyond the boundaries of these parks. Ensuring connectivity between habitats allows leopards to move, hunt and find mates without having to traverse dangerous human-dominated areas. This involves careful land use planning and working with local communities to manage buffer zones around protected areas in a way that benefits both wildlife and people. Education and awareness programs are also vital components of leopard conservation. Helping local communities understand the ecological role of leopards and the importance of their survival can gradually change perceptions from viewing them solely as a threat to recognizing their intrinsic value. These programs can also disseminate information on conflict avoidance techniques, such as building predator-proof livestock enclosures or adopting better livestock guarding practices. Empowering communities with knowledge and tools to coexist with wildlife is key to long-term conservation success, turning potential adversaries into allies for conservation. Furthermore, robust scientific research and monitoring, like the camera trap studies in Margala Hills, provide essential data to guide conservation strategies. Understanding leopard population dynamics, their movement patterns, and the specific drivers of conflict in different areas allows for more targeted and effective interventions. This scientific underpinning ensures that conservation efforts are based on evidence and can be adapted as conditions change. The challenge of conserving Pakistan's leopards is significant, but through dedicated efforts, community involvement, and innovative solutions, a future where these magnificent cats can thrive alongside human populations is indeed achievable. Section 9, a collective responsibility safeguarding our fellow creatures. The spectrum of animal fights in Pakistan, from the illegal cruelty of bear baiting to the natural, yet increasingly fraught encounters between humans and leopards, underscores a profound truth. Human actions have a deep and often devastating impact on the animal kingdom. The suffering inflicted in staged fights for entertainment is a stark betrayal of our responsibility towards other living beings. Rocky's story is a painful reminder of this. Similarly, the pressures we place on natural habitats escalate conflicts with wildlife, pushing magnificent creatures like the leopard closer to the brink, simply for trying to survive in a world we increasingly dominate. Greater awareness is the first step towards meaningful change. Educating the public about the cruelty inherent in practices like bear baiting and the ecological importance of predators like leopards can foster empathy and a desire for action. It's crucial to understand that animals are sentient beings, capable of feeling pain, fear, and stress. This understanding must translate into a rejection of all forms of animal abuse, whether it's for sport, convenience, or due to ignorance. The misuse of animals in other contexts, such as the tragic clubbing of a wild boar during protests or the death of a white tiger paraded in a political rally, further highlights a disturbing disregard for their welfare. Stronger legislative support and, critically, its rigorous enforcement are paramount. Pakistan's move to increase penalties for inciting animal fights and for general animal cruelty are positive developments. However, laws are only as effective as their implementation. Consistent monitoring, investigation and prosecution of offenders are necessary to send a clear message that animal cruelty will not be tolerated. This requires adequate resources for wildlife departments and law enforcement agencies, as well as continued support from animal welfare organizations that often play a crucial role in bringing abuses to light and caring for rescued animals. Ultimately, the protection of animals, whether from direct human cruelty or from the indirect consequences of our actions, is a collective responsibility. It requires a shift in mindset, moving from exploitation and indifference towards stewardship and compassion. It demands that we make space for wildlife, respect their right to exist, and actively work to mitigate the conflicts that arise from our shared planet. The fight to protect animals is a fight for our own humanity, for a world where all creatures, great and small, are treated with the dignity and respect they inherently deserve. This is a future worth striving for.